Hey, this is Kurt's Boat Doctor. Hey, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the coho, or the LE Seahawk. This is a price, kind of a price leader here boat. I'll tell you, there's a lot to think about on these, because it's the same hull except for the bottom thickness is 190 versus a 1/4 inch. But with their latitude and longitude box girders in here, you really don't need that thick of a bottom. So it's kind of like if you're buying a new truck or a car, you go by probably 60%, 70% what you use on a daily basis. The other 30% you probably will never use. So why have it? I guess, resale, it's not going to help. It does maybe on certain people that, hey, this got this, so that makes them want to buy that because it has this option, but they'll never use it. So then you try to go for price. You say, well, okay, it's the same hull. If you match them with the same horsepower, you're looking at almost 20 grand difference between the LE or the coho and the standard Seahawk. Now there is some differences, and that's what I was going to go through to you. Now there's options on all of them, but you don't have as many options on the coho as you do on the Seahawk. So that can really drive them up. Now that trailer right there, that's a custom trailer. They don't come with them, they come with easy loader trailers. And this, as well as the fastback, is now the Seahawk. So just chop that top off and put this top on that, and then we're going to compare these two, because you got 3 ports on the front, but that's again a fastback versus the 2. That's immaterial. You hardly ever would ever take water in that bow anyway, but that's enough to get it out. It's going to hit and it's going to go right out the window anyway if you did. So that's not a big deal. Now, okay, this does have standard. They do have the anchor guard right here. This one doesn't. Okay, so you look, hey, is that important to me? Yeah, that's kind of nice. I'll give it some kudos there, because but if you don't pull an anchor, I guess you never have to worry about that, because 10 to 1, if you're ever going to hit a dock, you're going to hit it in here anyway, and again, that's kind of looks pretty and stuff. But and then the other main feature, like, there's pros and cons. This one's painted, this one's vinyl. Actually, vinyl is more resilient when you're hitting something. It's more rubbery, so it will give more, where like paint, you touch it and it'll scratch basically. And the way I look at it, you don't have to worry about blistering. Now that's why North River, you'll see how they painted up here, but they welded it as well, so that's good. No water can trap up there. But if you notice, they stayed away from all that right here on the vinyl one, because you can't trap water in. If you ever look at a boat that starts blistering on the paint, it's always up here, because they never used to weld up in here, and they used to paint right up into here. And then what would happen, they didn't get it all painted all the way up in there. Water would get up in there, and then it would get on the backside of the paint in the boat and start blistering. That's why we left these spaces below the welds, so that won't do that. That's on both, and you see this is shinier more than a flat look. But back to the paint issue, vinyl, so what? Say you smudged a lot of this. Again, this is more a little forgiving. When you hit something, it's a little more rubbery than just aluminum. It'll scratch easier. You can get the whole boat done any graphic you want for about 1,500 bucks. So then you're looking, now if you try to fix that, a damn scratch is going to cost you over 1,000, right? So here nor there. Me personally, I probably would go to the vinyl, but that's me. Now this is kind of, it has a few little options. I think on the trailer, it's got the foot jack, it's got the swing tongue, spare tire, that's all options. Same thing here, spare tire is an option on that. This trailer is an option. So these are both 18 by 42 degree holes on here. You can tell if you look back, only this is like a 22 or 3 foot versus a 21 foot. So they look basically the same. So I'm not, to your eyes, it looks like that one's a little bit deeper. But I think they're exactly the same. In their 102 beam on these. And now the difference here, your Seahawk comes with dual wipers. And I'll get into that later on cost. So you're looking roughly 75,000 on this one. And of course, if that was a 21 Seahawk, not a 22 fastback, you'd be looking probably 95, 97,000. You're talking 859, almost 20,000, an easy $20,000 difference for the same basic hole. The only thing you got to remember, one's a 1/4 inch, one's 190. But again, these here, the way they build their structure on their framing for structural support underneath the floor, the box girder, the latitude and longitude, they're beefy. Okay, this also runs a heavier keel strip. Both of them do, and that's where you're going to hit. So that's reinforced, and this is on the coho. So there you go here. They also got your chine here, and it's curved down to help keep that water down. They got it cut out here, which was smart, so then you don't hang up. If this went all the way out, then this can stick on this roller. It has to pop over. So then let's go back. Slick bunks, they're all going to have slick bunks. Chine guides, probably an option. Same thing with that. So the trailer is kind of immaterial. You can get any trailer you want. So let me see, is offshore bracket, offshore bracket. Now we're comparing the Seahawk to the coho. So we went through the paint, the strakes right here. That doesn't really matter, having the extra one of those. Dual wipers versus single wiper. And again, you can't compare the boat I'm showing you right now, because again, this is a fastback, but it's the same from here down. Notice polished, non-polished. Again, you think, oh, that looks pretty. This is actually less maintenance. You use Corrosion X, so this looks flashier. So if you want that, then you get the Seahawk, because then it's paint. You got to remember, paint's going to scratch more than vinyl, and it's a lot easier to fix. So then we go back here to the back. This has got the rear entry door, which that's an option. This doesn't. You got this here, you can put a 25 if you wanted a high thrust Yamaha on here. That's big enough bracket for it. Here's a 150 with the integrated hydraulic steer. And a little tidbit, when you do get this, if you ever get leaks, always check here to see if they siliconed underneath here. Okay, so we're looking, rear entry, that is an option. So that would drive this boat up again. And then is aluminum versus painted on the back side. That could be a plus, actually. It's just if it's sitting in the water, you don't get the white spots. So that would be a bonus here. Now, no trim tabs. Trim tabs would be standard on the Seahawk versus the coho. So that would be something maybe I would, because you can get some pretty cheap, like Bennett's, you know, probably for, I don't know, 800 bucks. You start getting into, you know, like your Zip Wakes and your Seakeeper trim tabs, they can get costly. But if you just do the standards like this Bennett here, they're not that much. So them are the things I'd say. If you had a Seahawk and the coho, 20 grand difference, and we'll start adding this up, what would be cheaper? Basically, in my eyes, you could get this boat. I'd probably upgrade though to the 200 is what I do. They're the same weight, but the 200 actually get better fuel economy. It's a lot snappier. You never have to worry about being underpowered. Yeah, it's, I'd say roughly 3 grand different. So that'd be something I would do. But again, the Seahawk is only going to come with a 150 as well. So then you could add on 100,000 versus like 78,000 just on the upgrade. So again, that you can't really compare. You've got transducer brackets. Boom, boom. Again, polished. This has got a little bit different, like on the back rail here. But this is the fastback again. A lot of these don't have this. It's just flat like it is back there. So you look here, they painted that. They just did this white. So again, you got right here, they ran a non-skid here. The other one they didn't. Over here, how you doing? So you could always put that on later. You can buy that stuff in rolls. And this is what a kicker would look on here. And this has got the 99. The 99 does awesome on this boat. So now what we're going to do, we looked at the back. You got zinc So trim tab, we got to remember to add trim tabs, another wiper. Again, ladder, let's see if it has a ladder. No ladder, so you got to add a ladder on here. I would want a ladder. You could either take that one, you could probably have welded on it, wouldn't hurt anything. And see, this has got non-skid right here anyway, so that's where you need it. You're coming in and out, you put a ladder here, so at least they did put that there, so you don't have to worry about that. And now I'm going to go to video 2.